Blessings and welcome to Imago Spiritual Learning and Wellness. And I wanted to share with the message is always the same: be still and know. Wanted to share today about alchemy and how we can apply alchemy in our lives. And many of you know this already, and some of you don't. But regardless, it doesn't matter what we know or don't know. Is what are we open to, right? What are we open to? And that's really what matters. So alchemy is, kind of historically is the ancient practice of trying to transmute, change, transform base metals like lead, copper, into more precious metals like gold and silver, and so there have been alchemists in centuries ago in ancient Europe, China, the Taoists in China. There's some indications that it was practiced in ancient India and perhaps among Muslims in the Arab lands eons ago, but there's kind of like scant evidence of that. The ancient Greeks. So, however, as it applies, or as it can apply to us, it's just simply transmuting our experiences, our base experiences. Like pain, for instance, and transmuting our pain into wisdom, into understanding, transmuting our pain, engaging it, working with it the way that alchemists would work with base metals, but working with our pain so that we could figure out a way to have that pain inform our reflections, our inner dialogue, our growth, our development, and ultimately our service to others. Because pain can help us grow, or depending upon how we respond to the pain, or it can do just the opposite. And it's not the pain doing this or that to us, helping us grow or not grow. It's really ourselves and our decisions and how we interpret that pain, what we make it mean, and then how we engage that pain, how we work with it, right? So, like for example, I had recently learned of a brother beautiful human being, because of what he did. When I read about him, his father died when he was 14 years old. And that obviously was a painful event. That's a traumatic event for anyone. And so anyway, and so what he did was now in his adulthood, he created a YouTube channel, and I subscribed to it, and I think you should too. And he created a YouTube channel where he shares lots of tidbits and things for youth who don't have a father. And the name of the channel is Dad, How Do I change a tire? How do I tie a necktie? How do I shave? Right? How any number of things that typically normally a father would teach his son. So for those youth that do not have a father, this beautiful human being is in his own little way filling in that gap. And again, the name of the YouTube channel is Dad, How Do I? And you can look it up. And like I said, I subscribed. I just subscribed to it recently, and he has right now, I think, like over 5 million followers and growing all the time. So blessings to him for doing that. So he took his pain, and I don't know what exactly his process was, how he processed his pain, but what we see are the fruits of his work, of that process. Um, and he worked with that pain and allowed it to inform him and his decisions and his growth and development in such a way that he thought to create this wonderful channel to fill in that gap a little bit for those youth without fathers. So that's one example. Another example is Warrick Dunn, Warrick, Dunn, Dunn. And he was a great college football player and a running back, I think. I used to watch him play. I believe he was a running back. I don't remember. And then he went on to play in the NFL for a number of years. And he lost his mother, I think the same age, I think around age 14. His mother was a police officer, and she was shot and killed in the line of duty. And so he lost his mother, and he had 5 siblings, all younger. And he now was the parental figure in their lives. And he raised them. He endured the hardship of his pain, of loss, his grief. And he endured the tremendous responsibility of having to raise. He took it upon himself to raise up his younger siblings. And he did this while yet attending school, high school, and then college, and then of course when he made it to the NFL, his fortune really changed. But really, his fortune really changed when he decided to man up, if you will, and live up to the responsibility that now fell upon his shoulders to raise up his siblings and to be there for them in a way that his mother could not. And so then what he did was, with the millions of dollars that he earned, he built houses, and I think it was like 150 houses, something like that, 150 homes, 150 houses for single mothers. And I think he was from Louisiana, Georgia, somewhere down south. I don't remember. I'm not doing it justice. But anyway, so Warrick, another beautiful brother, beautiful human being, evidenced in the way that he chose to serve and to make provision for others who were struggling themselves. And the fruits of his service clearly are evidence of the work that he did in terms of how he engaged with the pain and the grief of losing his mother at such a young age, and how he underwent his process, however he underwent that. But it really boils down to the fact that life did not end for Warrick Dunn. Life did not end for the other brother that I mentioned, who has this YouTube channel, Dad, How Do I? Life did not end, and they did not allow the pain to define them. They did not allow the pain to be the final say in the book of their lives. That was not to be the final chapter. Now, all of us have gone through pain. All of us have, most of us, many of us, some of us have gone through trauma. And especially in our childhood, through our formative years, many of us have endured a lot. And yet, we still chose to get up every morning and go to school and go to church on the weekends, or to mosque, or to temple, or to whatever, or to none of it. We still, made the choice to go to the store for our mom and to just keep on living, even when we were not aware so much of the process that we were undergoing, to keep showing up. And and not being aware of it, we did it anyway. And then perhaps later on in our lives, in our adulthood, most likely, we learned of things, and we learned things of ourselves that that allowed us to revisit the pain, perhaps, and to approach it in such a way that we're now choosing to engage the pain or the painful memories, and to work on it. That's alchemy. That's alchemy. What worked undid, alchemy. Dad, how do I? That's alchemy. You being here, if you think back on all that you've been through, and maybe you haven't been through as much pain and trauma as others, but still you have your challenges and your difficulties. And so one way that I've learned along the years, and I read this, I read about this in a book, Care of the Soul by Thomas More, and he got it from Carl Jung. Carl Jung, beautiful brother, man, beautiful, 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 beautiful brother, beautiful human being, a depth of soul that just is, it's unconscionable. I mean, it's just, it's unreal, man. It's unreal what flowed through Carl Jung, through Carl Jung, and as Carl Jung, the expressing of Creator in him, through him, as him, just phenomenal because of what it has added to so many lives. So anyway, so in that book, Care of the Soul, I learned of 3 questions to ask when our pain, and it could be, pain can take on many forms. It could be grief, depression, sadness. It could be anger, rage, jealousy, envy. It could be fear, doubt, worry, concern. It wears many masks. And however, we can engage the pain and work with it and make it an ally. And that's the point. It's not about shunning the pain. It's not about avoiding the pain. That doesn't do anything. I mean, we can smoke a joint or go drink some beer or some wine, or we can turn on Netflix or turn on the ball game, or we can go to the gym and work out. That's more productive. And all these are processes. But does the process, turning on Netflix or Prime or doing drugs, right? These are all processes, and these are all ways that we're figuring out in terms of how do I process this, right? Well, I'm going to process this by avoiding it. That's going to be my process. I'm going to process this by taking a substance. That's going to be my process. I'm going to process this by going shopping. That's going to be my process. I'm going to process this by, any number of ways. Does that process ultimately serve us? Well, one hint is, how much agency am I exercising in my process? And so these 3 questions, and there are variations of these questions, and you can internalize it and personalize it in any way you wish. But when the pain comes in whatever form, we can ask it as we would ask a person that shows up. Why are you here? Why are you here? What do you have to teach me? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to reveal to me? And then the third question could be a variation of, how do I grow from this? What do I need to learn from this in order to grow? How do I move on? How do I grow from this? How do I allow you to inform my growth? How do I allow this to inform how I serve others? Right? Why are you here? What are you trying to show me? And how can I grow from this? And if we engage our pain directly, with agency, with intelligence, with conscious awareness, that will be I'm getting chills right now, just the thought of it. We can we'll come to discover that we have so much more going on within us than just the pain and the stories that, and the stories are important. The pain is important. Accept it, and accept the trauma of your past, and accept your hardships that you're having to deal with right now in your life. Accept the conditions and circumstances of your life right now. Accept it. Accept all of it. Learn to breathe. Learn to breathe free. Accept all things. Rejoin yourself, and then show up. And if we can do this, we'll take that pain, and through alchemy, the alchemy of life, the alchemy of metaphysics, the alchemy of spirit, we'll take that pain, likened to the base metals of, let's say, lead or copper, and we'll transmute that pain into something glorious, something beautiful, a strength, a power that we will discover from within our own selves. And that strength, that power, I call that creator, I call it spirit, the most high, the most within. It's always there. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Let's not get caught up in language yet, because there's a place for all that. But with regard to what we're talking about here, alchemy and the transmutation of pain into healing, into compassion, into service. Getting to the heart of it, getting to the heart of that process, and engaging that process with intelligence, with some trepidation, sure, absolutely. With some uncertainty, sure, absolutely. That's always going to be the case. That's okay. That's okay. Because all that will fall away eventually if we continue engaging that process. And I'm telling you right now, there is something glorious within you that is just waiting. It's incubating. And it's your Imago. There's something glorious within you, within me, within us, that will emerge for the good and the blessing of all, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So I just wanted to leave that with you. Again, subscribe to that channel. Dad, how do I? Support that brother. He's a beautiful human being, for what he's doing. And go look up Warwick Dunn, and reflect on your own life, or on the lives of those whom you know or have known. Maybe those whom we have hurt or wronged ourselves. We can go back and ask their forgiveness, no matter what it is, and no matter how much shame, embarrassment, vulnerability we may feel around that. The importance of going back and confessing our wrong and saying, I did this to you, I said this to you, I stole this from you, I betrayed you. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. That can initiate, a process of healing, alchemy, a process of transmutation, so that pain can now become our ally in bringing forth healing and restoration, redemption, and restoring the oneness, the unity. That's what it's all about. So I pray that this was a blessing for you, and as it was and always is for me. And thank you so much for taking this time with me. Just thank you. Thank you so much. And keep showing up. Keep showing up in your life, man. Because you never know who's watching and observing, and who might be inspired by it, might even be in need of inspiration. So thank you, and blessings, eternal blessings to you and to all that pertains to you. Thank you again for this time that you took with me here at Imago Spiritual Learning and Wellness. Many blessings. Thank you.